Afternoon, everyone. It is now 12:32. This is Monday, October 23rd. The board meeting of the town of Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency. The following board members are present: Mr. Callahan, Mr. Pally, Mr. Polakowski, okay, Mr. Braun. A quorum is present. First order of business, we need to go into executive session to discuss a matter of litigation. I have a motion to that effect, please.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. 50. It's 12:56. I need a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And please note that no action was taken during executive session. Very quickly, our minutes of September 20th, and sent to everybody. Have a motion to accept
So
those.
moved. Second.
Are there any questions, corrections? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Lisa?
Sure, we're gonna take some items out of order because we have some guests here. The first item that we're going to do is Fairfield Knowles at Mount Sinai owner LLC, the letter. So that letter was included in your packets. And just to let everyone know, this is a letter withdrawing an application to purchase the HSRE Mount Sinai / Sutton Landing property. Do we need to accept that letter? Is that?
No, accept the withdrawal.
Okay, so we're gonna, I need you to accept the withdrawal.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item, still taking things out of order, is an application from Mount Sinai Knowles Portfolio Holding LLC. Just to give everybody a quick overview, this is a proposal to purchase the HSRE EB. Did I get that backwards? I may have gotten that backwards. It's the EB at Mount Sinai. That's what the letter was. I'm sorry. I
HS is Bristol.
mix them up almost every time. I apologize. Caught myself though. The Engel Berman at Mount Sinai project. This is a project that we supported previously. It's south of 25A, east of Route 83 in Mount Sinai. It is 225 over 55 residential units. And this proposal is for an assumption of the pilot. It's for $17.7 million. There's 4 FTE, which will continue. There's 9 more years of the pilot and, did I say 17? Yeah, 117 million. Yeah, sorry, 117 million. I don't know. I did everything in,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. And we have guests here that represent the project, so I can let them say it, stop mixing it up.
Due to financial situation of my own, I recuse myself from this application.
Okay,
Thank you. We'll find you somewhere.
go in my office.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, did you guys want to say anything? Do you have questions?
So Gary Hissiger from Warren Hockenhammer, Steve Salvato, I think you all know, represent Fairfield in this transaction. Fairfield is simply purchasing, an affiliate of Fairfield is purchasing the membership interests of the Engel Berman entity here and will continue to operate the project, as a Fairfield project going forward. As you know, they're a large owner in the town with a similar reputation, and I look forward to continuing their relationship with the town.
Questions from the board?
So I have a question. So your application withdrawal letter having been accepted, can you explain to the board, the new application and the reasoning behind this new contract, the new agreement that you've created?
So they changed the business of the purchase of membership interests under a contract, subject to the assumption of the benefits. They're seeking no new or enhanced benefits from the town, and just continue as to operate for the same purposes.
Okay, but that's the only reasoning behind,
Yes.
so membership interests.
Other board member questions? We expressed my concern. I think most people know that our overseers are the authority's budget office in Albany as well as the state controller. Authority's budget office doesn't have a lot of teeth. They can be a pain in the neck. But the controller's office certainly does. And more recently, we are under attack from two senators who have had a target painted on our backs for many, many years. And those are Sean Ryan from Western New York and what's his name? Thank you. Senator Scoofus from Orange County. Orange County's had, IDA has had some issues over the years, and I think Senator Scoofus is embarrassed by what's happened there. But he has gone so far over the last several months to take criminal action against Orange County as well as Steuben County, which is out in the western part of the state. Some of what he has done is for the very reasons that there's a concern at this board, and that is that both of those IDAs have gone forward on projects where the but-for clause was not necessarily checked off the way it should have been. They said they would do the project without any IDA assistance, and the IDA went ahead and did the projects anyway. So that's a concern of mine, and I think it's a concern of the board here. I don't know if you want to respond to that.
Sure. So a couple of things. So initially, we're seeking no new benefits here. So unlike any other deal, we were, not sort of in structuring the initial transaction. We did not think that since there was no new benefits being sought, they kind of took the financial risk of potentially this issue. But they had a similar contract with the town of Babylon IDA, which went through without question. So from a sort of process standpoint, Babylon accepted the terms. When this issue was raised, we went back and reconsidered it, went through a supplemental negotiation where we meaningfully increased the price to sort of, and had a brand new contract subject to obtaining the benefits. So we went back and the parties have, heard the concern, went through a secondary negotiation and put forth a brand new contract on different terms that is subject to the receipt of these benefits. We're seeking, and from a legal perspective, the general municipal law does allow deals to go forward without the but-for test being checked. And we thought, given the nature of no new benefits being sought and merely assuming the existing benefits, if there was a situation to allow for that to occur, this would be the one, because there's really, we did not see any risk to the, obviously we can't speak for the agency, but we saw that as sort of a very clean structure and, a justification for, for it. But having heard the concern, we went forth to the efforts to renegotiate the deal to accommodate the concern that we had heard, from the agency.
But you realize that the previous application is also foiled. If anybody wants to see that.
We understand that, but again, we thought the prior application was for the consideration, but we heard the concerns. We tried to address them in a way that we thought was in the best interest of all parties.
I have another question. So should you not receive the benefit of the IDA, will you be moving forward with the project anyway?
I'm not sure what if I'd have to discuss that with Roxmark.
That's critical for the board to decide whether or not it will accept the application. One of the tenements that we all hold is that if an applicant has the means to be able to continue or do the project without public benefit, that it is in obviously no need for IDA benefits. So the demonstrable need needs to be expressed by the applicant. So that's why I ask you now, the demonstrable need is important for the board to understand.
It would cost them significantly more money to proceed without it, obviously.
But will it happen whether the board gives you the benefit or not?
We didn't discuss that prior to the meeting.
Other questions? Anne Marie, Marty? Do you care to vote on this today, or does somebody need more information they want to table?
I would like to table this to the next board meeting.
Okay, we would need four.
So could we go call Fairfield and have it, because from a timing perspective, under our contract, we need to have a closing by November 30th if we're going to proceed. So we would need a final resolution at the November 15th here.
Can we table it for another time this meeting?
I think, and that, there's no problem with that, right?
No.
Yeah, we can do
Okay,
that.
we
Yeah.
can wait.
Table
Thank
it for when?
They're gonna make
Just
a
gonna
phone
hold
call.
it.
We're just
on this
gonna hold
agenda.
on
I'm
the
just gonna
subject
take it
right
out
now.
of order again.
Yeah.
Fine.
So let's go call them.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna bring Mitch back. in?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll revisit that in a few minutes. In the interim, we have some other guests here. So.
I was getting hungry.
Oh, I should have told you where the snacks are on my desk. There's a lot in there.
I started eating your sandwich anyway.
You're gonna drink the soda.
So now he took the soda with him. So now that we have other guests, I'm gonna go back a little bit. We still have some things out of order. The first item that I'm gonna bring to your attention is an application from Hawkins Avenue Development, RHP2 LLC, a subtenant called Ronkonkoma Tap Room LLC. And that's a Ronk Hub subtenant, Ronkonkoma Tap Room. They are proposing an additional location to their existing restaurants and bars. I think they have one in like Bayshore, Massapequa, Patchogue, Farmingdale. I think there's a few more. And what they're proposing in Ronkonkoma is 5,644 square feet, a 10.5-year lease, 20 FTEs. And that application is in your packets, and what we're asking is that you accept the application, do the final resolution, and then Ronkonkoma Tap Room would then be requested to sign a tenant agency compliance agreement
I'm good with accepting the application.
and the resolution.
And the resolution. So moved, yeah.
Yep.
Second. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda, still taking some things out of order, is the Ronk Hub Nova LLC application. So this is phase 2B of the Ronk Hub project. This is approximately 3.9 acres. It's the western portion of the project. It's Railroad, Hawkins, Union, Garrity, kind of that section. It's a $113 million project. There's about 34,000 square feet that's going to be demolished. They are in contract or own all of the properties with the exception of one property owner, and there's 6 parcels that are still outstanding but are being worked on. And the end project is a mixed-use building, about 175 residential units, about 200,000 square feet of with about 200,000 square feet of residential rentals, a garage, and about 1,400 square feet of retail space. They're requesting a pilot sales and use tax abatement, and they will create about 15 full-time employees. And what I'm asking you guys to do is accept the application and set the public hearing. And like I said, we have representatives if you guys have any questions for them.
I have a question. You've done the assemblage, but what is, who is the holdout?
Mensch?
It is Mensch, so.
No,
No,
not.
it's not, it's Gordon.
Oh, thank you.
Okay,
We have a contract for, we'll be closing with that shortly.
okay, so Mensch is acquiesced, and then you've got Gordon. Okay, okay.
Does this pilot that we're asking for, you're asking for, the same or reasonably the same as the ones we have already given on the other phases?
What we did originally was we gave them a pilot for the entire project,
Okay,
and we've been sort of parsing it out. So I haven't gotten that far. You guys, I know you guys sent a proposal. We have to look at the numbers and just see, see what makes sense.
so the total is
Is
not
set.
changing. What may change are the individual
Yeah.
pieces within the larger total. Is that
Yeah.
a fair statement?
Yeah.
Just the start dates.
Okay,
Got
Hi,
it.
this is Michael Webb, counsel at Farrell Fritz, and yes, this would be an allocation under the master benefits agreement that was previously approved.
okay,
Got
and does not change the master benefits agreement in any way? Okay, thank you.
I'm in support of this. I'd like to make a motion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? As big as it was when we were there the other day, if you go on the south side of the tracks and look to the north, it looks even that much bigger. There you go.
It's a great project.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's only because on the south side, you're looking at it from Iceland. That's why it looks so
Uh-huh.
big. So if you look at it from Brookhaven, it's different. It's a different perception.
So keeping with the same concepts, as we still have the same guests here, I'm going to also take out of order the Ronkonkoma roadway dedication, which is the other piece. This is for Ronkonkoma Phase 2A. It's the property east of Falcon, south of Union, north of Railroad. It needs to be dedicated to the town for a road widening project. And it will involve amending our documents, our IDA leases. So I have a resolution. Barry, is there anything that you wanted to add?
No, we'll just have to update the legal descriptions that's attached to the leases to dedicate that portion of the land to the town for the road widening, and then record new memos of leases to reflect the portion of the property that will be under the IDA transaction going forward.
You need a resolution for that as well.
Yeah,
So moved.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, you did? I didn't get it. Okay, thank you. Friday?
I said on Friday by email.
Okay, sorry, I think I saw it. Okay.
We need to do anything else?
No, sorry,
We're
that
good?
was just a little
Okay.
housekeeping sidebar. Okay, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, John, I didn't even see him behind you.
Yes.
Sorry.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
See you there. How are you?
Yeah, good seeing you.
How are you?
Yep.
Good
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yeah.
How you doing? How are you, John?
Bye-bye.
Good to see you.
Thank
So-
you.
care, guys.
That's John Hartley.
Thought you had more. Just keeping with, taking things out of order because we have guests here. Sherry has been stuck in our meeting for a very long time.
Lisa,
So-
if I may, could someone add John Chomeny?
Yeah, are we talking about Medford Gardens? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's-
I thought if you mentioned Sherry Tuck, I assume that's what you're doing.
I've been taking everything out of order, so Amy doesn't know where I'm going now.
Sorry. John has been invited in.
Okay, so this is the
Thank you.
Well Life Network, Inc., Medford Gardens Housing Development Fund Corporation. It's the Medford Gardens project. We had a public hearing this morning. There were no comments. The reason why you see this on your application is because we had them give us an update to their project. And just to remind everybody, this is a project that's proposed the north side of Horse Block, west of Eagle Estates, between Eagle Estates, there's a shopping center, and then it's east of the Medford Multi-Care. So there's a parcel there. It's a 6.8 acre vacant parcel. This is a approximately $38 million project. Included in your packet was an updated application and cover letter. And I have to tell you, thank you so much. That cover letter was so thorough and informative. It was, I found it very helpful, so thank you. A cost benefit analysis, a feasibility study, and the pilot. The idea is, which we're proposing a 10% shelter rent pilot. The project is to construct a 3-story, 67-unit apartment complex. It's about 69,000 square feet. It's 100% affordable, senior supportive apartment complex. Sorry, my words are not working so well today. There's 1 unit that's going to be set aside for the super. And just to let everyone know, 7 of these, there's going to be 7 FTE, and the rents are going to be 33 units, which are going to be at the 30% of the tenant's income. 17 units of those 33 will be set aside with individuals with serious mental illness. There's going to be 8 units at 40% of AMI, and that works out to roughly $975 a month. 8 units at 50% of the AMI, which works out to about just over $1,200 a month, and 17 units at 60% of the AMI, which works out to $1,460 per month. I mentioned that it's going to be a 10% shelter rent pilot, and we are including the possibility of a mortgage recording tax and a sales tax exemption, although they may or may not need to utilize that through us. So what we have on right now is to accept the updated application. And then we also have a resolution, but we have guests here if you guys had any questions from the project.
Sherry and John, you just want to talk about it for 2 minutes?
My name is John Chalemi, on behalf of the applicant. Lisa summed it up very, very nicely. It's a multi-apartment complex with very much a need to address the affordable housing. We will be seeking financing through low-income housing tax credits, which is another reason that necessitates the need for the pilot. Due to the structure of that, a pilot really makes this whole project not feasible. So that's really the crux of it. Otherwise, Lisa described the project in terms of the units, the rents very nicely. We do have Sherry Tucker here, the CEO of Wildlife, that can address any specific questions relating to the financing or Wildlife mission itself.
And if I may add, we have proposal is for a 30-year pilot, and since they are getting low-income housing tax credits, the affordability of it is, I'm gonna say, bigger than us. It's tied to their housing credit, so it's you know, a requirement of that agreement.
Do we get a copy of that?
We will.
Okay.
It hasn't, Fred, if I understand it correctly, they're in the application process, and they need our resolution in order to complete their package. And so probably, from what I understood, they probably won't get the formal approval until the spring, if that's correct. John, did I get it right?
Yes, you did, Howard. Thank you.
But those annual certifications as to the units, we'll get a copy of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. No, that just, because some of the other projects, there's a question as to who's following for what. That's
Right.
the only reason I asked that.
Okay.
Does anyone have any other questions? Okay, so if I need you to accept the updated application and then also do the final authorizing resolution.
So move.
Second.
Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank
Good luck.
you.
Good
Thank you very
luck.
much.
Afternoon.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, let's just keep going. We have to go back and do Lori's report too, but for now, we'll just continue on. The next item on the agenda is I guess we're staying with the theme too, is the GGV, the Grove project. We had a public hearing this morning and we had another public hearing on June 2nd, I think. There was no comment at either public hearing. Included in your packet is a cost benefit analysis, the pilot, and a study of economic impact. Also updated in your packet is an org chart that they sent to us. I don't think there's anybody, but I can't really see that.
No.
No, okay. So this is a proposed 55 unit affordable housing complex. So I said we were staying with the theme. This one is in East Patchogue. It's on the south side of Main Street and the east side of Grove. The reason that we had a second public hearing is because there was a Scrivener's error in the first public hearing, and the change in it is that the number of rental units being offered at 60% of the AMI went from 24 to 26, so a few more at 60%, and the number of units at 90% of the AMI went from 6 to 5, and they also removed the unit to be reserved for an on-site residential manager. So included in this is 17 units that will be set aside for victims of domestic abuse. And there is a partnership with Good Ground, a not-for-profit, Good Ground, that's going to, they're going to have a role in this to support the victims of domestic violence. It's a roughly $34 million project, and there will be 7 FTE. And this in front of you is the final authorizing resolution. Barry, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I think that sort of covers it. We did hold a new public hearing and suggested a new authorizing resolution just to update the correct sort of unit mix, so that the public would be aware of those edits that were required. But otherwise, this would be the final authorizing resolution that allows us to go forward towards closing.
This is a location where True Value Hardware used to be. They owned, and the Feifels owned that. Remember that name?
My mother used to work there when it was rotten. She sewed clothes there when she was very young.
And Rollick used to make more 95% of their product with the Sears those days.
Oh, okay.
And there used to be a little store in
There sure was.
called Murray's that used to sell Rollick's clothes.
Wow.
Well,
I believe I recused myself the first time on this, so I will recuse myself from this vote also.
Okay, we're good, thank you. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you very
With
much.
one recusal.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay. The next item on the agenda is September.
All over that.
No,
It's Monday, you know.
Morning,
no,
Lori.
yeah, September morning. We're moving in the same, and Michael is here representing them. But we had a public hearing this morning. There were no comments. Included in your packet was the cost benefit analysis, the proposed pilot, and the feasibility study. Just to remind everyone, this is at that 70,000 square foot warehouse distribution center. The plan is for 2 to 3 end users. It's on a 3.88 acre parcel of vacant land in the Shirley Industrial Park. It's a roughly $14.5 million project, and it's anticipated to create 29 full-time equivalent employees. And in front of you is the final authorizing resolution. Does anybody have any questions?
sounds like a movie.
Yeah. What's the song?
Yeah.
No questions on the resolution then?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, Michael, this is still yours, is HSRE EB Mount Sinai's easement request. They requested an easement agreement for the shared roadway access and maintenance, et cetera, between HSRE EB Mount Sinai, which is the assisted living, I got it right on this one, and Engel Berman Mount Sinai, which is the senior residential rentals. And they're requesting a resolution approving this easement agreement.
Did I recuse myself on this one also?
Yeah,
Yes.
probably.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
Barry, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, they did share with us the proposed agreements. We've reviewed them. We didn't have any comments to the proposed easement agreement. So from our perspective, I think it looked okay.
as I understand it, HSRE owns or will own the road that intersects with 25A. There'll be an easement for Sutton Landing, whether it's with EB or somebody else. I should also mention that the Ranches, which is the condo community that I live in, also has an easement to get into our property. So, that sound right?
Yes,
Okay.
but my understanding is again, that this easement would, it would just allow the Sutton Landing residents to access the Bristol roads and connect to Village Drive and 25A, and they wouldn't have access to the other neighboring communities or villas or ranches.
Not yet. Hopefully.
Is there any
never.
opposition anywhere in the community?
No, I'm, in some ways, I'm surprised it wasn't done before because they're separate corporations, but more important now with the sale possibility.
Gotcha. I support it.
Yeah. Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
With one abstention.
One abstention.
Next item on the agenda
Thanks.
is,
Done right.
you done?
I think I'm done.
Okay.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great afternoon.
We're having so much fun.
Oh, well, drink the water.
Take
That's
care.
recycling.
Yes,
Well,
recycling.
and he's gotta drink the water too.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
The next item on the agenda is the
Peter Curry.
Port Development LLC request. So this is One North Country, this is a project that's under construction at One North Country Road in Port Jefferson. It's an apartment complex. There was a letter included in your project.
Yeah, it's
It's,
a lobster
yeah,
house.
yeah, former lobster house.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Um,
Top of the hill.
That, yes, at the top of the hill.
Mhm.
They ran into some
Issues.
issues, which were explained in the letter, and they have their completion date and their sales tax was set to expire December 31st of this year, and they need more time. They requested an extension on their completion date and their sales tax. They asked that we extend it until December of 2024. That's the resolution on the table.
So moved.
He said they had some
Second.
issues with the foundation and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So,
Leave it wait.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
All
the
those in-
motion in a second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved again.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is Hydro Metals Holding Boilermatic Welding Industries, Inc. This is a request that we got from the project. I'll actually tell you that I was happy when this came through, because the reason I learned about it is that the environmental division in planning saw the application come in as for solar installation, and they called us to find out what our role was and if we needed to do anything. So I was pleased to have that nice working relationship that they,
This is coast to coast, right?
yes, yeah. So right now, this is in Bellport, 20 Pinehurst Drive. They are requesting your consent to install a roof-mounted solar installation. They will own it. 15% of the energy will be used by Boilermatic, used for them, and the rest is gonna be
Great.
sold.
Good
Yeah.
news.
Yeah, sold to the utility. Harvest Power is gonna be constructing it, and my only question is, how does this? So I think what happens is if this increases their assessment, we have to adjust our pilot, right? How do we handle this?
Well,
We've done it before. How do we do it in other cases?
They came to us and asked for a pilot. They did not ask for a pilot on this. They just asked for consent.
Maybe they don't care.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
I don't, like, that's okay. I just,
Who
what do we?
did the transaction with them?
Dan
Howard?
Dordfeld. Oh, on our side, it was Nixon Peabody.
Maybe they could reach out to them, prove this for now, and then you could
Okay.
always amend.
Barry, does that sound good?
Yeah, no, we're happy to reach out. Just the standard language that would have been utilized here would have said if they build what they call quote unquote additional facilities, which would have been improvements to the building, the IDA would have the right to bill that at full assessed value. So we're happy to follow up. It is possible that they're seeking a separate sort of pilot as of right under section 487 of the real property tax law. But we can follow up to see if they've had those discussions or what their thoughts are and make sure that they understand the implications.
Yeah, we haven't seen that request on the town side, so that's why I think we should reach out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Barry.
Yep.
Okay, so.
I would move this item.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other questions for council? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay.
We'll go back up to budget.
Yeah, let's go,
Financial report.
keep it moving around.
Here's my story.
Lori was unable to attend today, so she asked me to.
She had too much fun at the CDC gala last week.
Yeah,
Probably
that's
still
what she said.
recuperating.
That's what she said.
Oh, there you go.
Um,
I missed that one.
So
It's very well
We'll
done.
invite you next year.
her
It's
report is
outdoors.
in your packets. And she just asked that I bring a couple of things to your attention. We had 2 subtenant application and one termination that's included in the January through September actual. Those were things that happened in September. And she also, in September, we had a pretty active month. We closed on 10 Donald's Way, EDPR, and American Beverage. So those, we had 3 closings in September, and that brings us to 7 for the year so far. She also asked me to bring to your attention that office supplies and fixed asset depreciation and also insurance, that those 3 things that we've spent more than we budgeted so far. The office supplies and expenses and the fixed asset depreciation.
Because what you see all around you.
Yeah, the town, the transition that the town, we bought all our own computers, all of that stuff. Yeah, I mean,
Nice, right?
we have some more work to do, but, a new copier contract, new stationery, new business cards, everything we had to be redone. So,
A new logo right there.
Yeah.
Same old.
oh, well,
Oh,
yeah, we
nice
could,
spot.
that's a
Right
new
there.
spot, where we could just have it stenciled on the wall.
Yeah,
That'd be nice.
Right?
Okay, so be prepared to be a little bit further behind next.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm not saying you.
I make a motion
Leonardo
for Marty
Leonardo da
to
Vinci in here,
stencil.
but, you know, well, we were talking about creating a different logo,
Yeah, actually, now
so.
you could
That
do
would
it
be
for
new,
us.
Leonardo.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just,
Then
you
the
know,
town
making a
wants-
comment.
He has
Somebody-
a child that's
There you go.
also involved.
Somebody who's equivalent to that,
Yeah.
you know.
A
That would
21st
be
century.
new.
Yeah.
Uh,
And Maggie Lee's good, not that good. So that, and she also just wanted me to point out that, the investment earnings, we have a pretty nice rate, and so we're making nice money.
Don't beat up the banks, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Does anyone have any questions? Fred, do you have anything you wanted to add?
Well, the one thing, and I think Lori mentioned this, I don't know if it hit our financials last year or not, but, the accountants are always looking for new ways to confuse us. And if not last year, certainly this year, they have to capitalize the lease stream. And sometimes even if there's a right to renewal, they assume you're gonna renew it. So they capitalize that, and the term, I just saw this for the first time at a board meeting for the New York State Economic Development Council earlier this morning. And the asset side, liability side is easy to understand. The asset, which is offset dollar for dollar, is the right of use asset. That's what they put on the balance sheet. So when you see that next spring when we get it,
That's what that
they should
means.
balance off. But other than that, I don't really have anything else to add. Obviously, investment income is terrific. And it'll probably last a good bit of 2024 as well, when we get into the budget process. Or it's
You should be able to
actually,
depreciate all the equipment this year, right?
well, it depends on how accelerated depreciation,
Yeah.
I forget how much. And, you know, and there's an amount under which we expense and don't capitalize.
Right.
Um,
Do we need a motion to accept?
Yes.
Do I need to read Lori's little speech before you accept it?
Sure.
Okay, I don't know what the right order is, but all payroll taxes and related withholdings have been paid timely in accordance with federal and state guidelines. All regulatory reports have been filed in a timely fashion. And all state regulatory payments, pilots have been made in accordance with state guidelines in a timely fashion. We didn't make any pilot payments recently, but I'm gonna say it anyway. We're up to date on everything.
When do we normally make pilot payments?
We make the pilot payments typically twice a year, January and
Payments or receipts
No, payments.
within 30 days, mandatory.
Right, within 30 days of we getting them.
Yeah.
And normally people
January.
pay in December and we make them in January, give or take.
usually people pay December, January, and we make them in January,
Okay.
February, and then again in May. They get paid and we make the payments in May and June.
So they're on the same schedule that all of us are on.
It's a little bit, it's not exactly, it's January 31st instead of January 10th.
Okay,
So there's a little bit of
Okay.
play in it because we don't get the numbers the same, but for the most part, we're pretty close.
okay.
And they have the same, what was that?
I said, and if they're late,
If they're late,
they
there's
move to the
there's,
next.
there's a late fee and there's, yeah, there's interest and penalties.
But it's paid at the following, is it paid 30 days from the date of receipt? When
Yes.
it is,
Every money that comes in goes out of here within 30
Okay,
days.
that was my
So,
question,
and the
yeah.
only thing that we keep in that late fee scenario is we have a fee for
Mm-hmm.
that. So that we keep, and all the interest and penalties, that goes to the tax, it gets divvied up to the taxing jurisdictions.
And the only thing you see in the pilot account, other than our initial investment many years ago and the interest that's accrued, is if a pilot payment comes in the last couple of days of the month, we haven't had a chance to get it out yet. But the accountants also check that to make sure we're within
Right.
30 days.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
Joss calendars that and she loses sleep over the 30 days. Keeps very good
We
track.
need a motion to accept the financial report, so
Thank
moved.
you.
All those in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, now getting back out of order and back into order. On the Commons at Rocky Point LLC, we sent a letter requesting information and we're going to be sending a letter requesting additional information. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So the next 3 items on the agenda, just to remind everybody, we did a resolution a few months ago, I think in August, that requires projects to move through our process on a tighter timeline. We had a lot of projects that would put in an application and then like disappear and stuff would get stale. And so we passed a resolution sort of keeping them on track. And as a result of that, we told the projects that were in process that they needed to alert us if they planned on going forward and request an extension. So you're gonna see a bunch of these in the next 2 months, I would say. The first one on the agenda is for Arab Station Road. They're requesting an extension of their application acceptance until August 31st of 2024. This project is located on the north side of Sunrise on Station Road, near the Bellport outlets, and I think Jonathan is on.
He is, I'm gonna move him
Okay.
over.
And so I wanted to also bring to your attention that this project, we did a little bit of research on all of our existing projects to make sure that our files were all up to date. And when we researched this project, it came to my attention that they put in some information to the planning department and the planning board that said that they would be paying full taxation of roughly $1.3 million. In one place, they did put a little asterisk and say that they were potentially pursuing IDA and abatement
That was
with the
in the
IDA.
written,
In the
but
written,
the testimony under oath
well,
said otherwise.
the documents that they provided to the planning department had, sorry, I have it here, including the study that Nelson and Pope presented, said that they were gonna pay, going from about $91,000 in property taxes to roughly 1.3 million, and Nelson Pope said it at the September 11th, 2023
Right,
planning
so they're-
board meeting, yes. So
So they trusted us?
I'm concerned with this. And I know Jonathan is on, if you guys had questions for him. And one thing that this board could do is continue to support this project without a pilot, or we could set up a pilot that's basically full taxation. So they could still get a sales tax exemption and a mortgage.
When did they put in the application to us?
They put in the application to us, I'd have to look. Give me 2 seconds, I have it, prior to September 11th of 2023.
Prior to the public hearing,
Correct, yes,
Yes.
that's the point.
yes,
So they put the application in to us,
yes,
asking for a pilot, correct?
yeah.
And then afterward testified at the planning board or whatever, that they
planning
were
board.
paying full taxation.
Yes.
Right.
Hi, this is Jonathan Isser. Thank you for hosting us at and hearing our request at this meeting today. I think the intent of what we testified about the project was not to in any way encumber the prior ID application that we had submitted to the town of Brookhaven IDA. Our land use attorney, purely in a context of a planning board hearing, which went through a significant amount of public outreach, was just trying to offer color as to the fact that the current land is vacant, it's the low land tax, and the assessed valuation, not necessarily what it would pay day one once construction is complete, but as that tax value is phased in over time, could conceivably hit that value. We didn't say that we were withdrawing our ID application. We didn't say anything to that effect. We didn't even say anything about the ID application at a planning board public hearing, which was a
Well,
land
that's
use related matter.
That's the problem, that you didn't say anything.
The guidance that our land use counsel, Keith Brown, gave us as we were preparing for that hearing was to simply mention that. And if members of the planning board, including the chairman, had questions for us, to be able to answer that question. We weren't asked that question at the hearing. We simply mentioned it and no one asked about it and we moved on. We had many members of the public who came out to ask us many questions about other issues at the hearing, such as traffic, et cetera, which we answered. Nobody asked a question about our pending ID application, and it's a matter of public knowledge that it is and remains pending. We simply put in a request today for an extension on it. We have no intention to withdraw the application. We've never submitted an application to withdraw it. And we even had.
Say that.
Sorry?
I didn't say that you guys said you were withdrawing your application.
Okay, yeah, we just don't, I mean, it sounds like the commentary that I heard at the meeting today was that because of something that we said about our taxes at our planning board public hearing, that the pilot that we had applied for as part of our ID application is in question. That was not our intention at all for what we testified to at our hearing. So I just not sure what the misunderstanding is.
I think the problem is when, as part of the planning board hearing, the application to the IDA was already in. And somebody should have said, when they were asked about taxation or mentioned taxation, that an application to the IDA for a pilot has been made, so that somebody could then assume you were not paying full taxes. That's the issue involved in the conversation, not whether or not you're withdrawing it or any of that kind of talk, but it gives the impression that you are paying full taxes because that's what somebody said at the hearing, but in reality, you're not paying full taxes because you've applied for a pilot if we grant the pilot. That's the problem.
I think the goal of what we said at the hearing was to explain that the land valuation would significantly increase from an assessed value perspective, not necessarily what we would pay day one when we were complete with construction. That's not what we didn't go up to the planning board hearing to have a discussion with the members of the board regarding an ID application or what the pilot schedule would be, et cetera. We simply mentioned that to be able to illustrate that on account of our investment in the property to develop it, there would be significant benefit to the local community and the town of Brookhaven because of the investment we're putting into it, which would increase the taxes. That was the.
And I don't think anybody is questioning that. That's not the issue. We all understand that when development happens, the value of the property goes up, and whether you get a pilot or not, the amount of taxes paid increases from vacant land. That's not the issue. The issue, however, is if somebody said they were gonna pay full taxes, in reality, you're not gonna pay full taxes if the IDA approves the project. That's the problem.
Did we say we would pay full taxes at the hearing?
Yes.
Yeah.
You said approximately $1.3 million.
And I think that's why I got no questions. I mean, I think, and I watched most of it, and I think the questions were mostly traffic, noise, lighting. And once you said you were gonna pay full taxes, nobody was gonna question that.
I don't think we use the words, we would pay full taxes. I think we've looked at the hearing transcript. But I'm happy to put a letter into the town planning board and the IDA for their clarifying whatever you guys, we do not want anything that we said at the hearing to put a pending pilot application at jeopardy for this project. And we've come a long way. It's been a very long entitlement journey for this project as well. So it's a difficult pill to swallow that's the impression that people took.
Letter is not
From
gonna
the
do it
hearing.
because this was a public hearing with public input. And people were listening and people were there. And at the planning board hearing.
Yeah. Well, do we have an idea of what they actually
Right, there's a
said?
record of this.
We're
I
gonna
believe
get it right
Lisa's
now.
pulling the record.
Lisa's
Okay.
pulling it up.
Yeah, just give me a
Okay.
couple of minutes to navigate the, sorry,
Take your time.
It's a secret project and we indicated the IDA was an interested party early as part of the project. And we didn't withdraw that comment prior to the hearing as well.
Can't imagine it. This deal is not gonna happen. I mean, it doesn't happen by November 30th. It'll happen in January.
Plan complies with typical L1 use and multi-dimensional zoning standards, with the exception of minor variances, including arterial highway setback variance for the recharge basin, which is, of course, subsurface, Pickford County 2009 Sunrise Highway corridor, and the previously approved Brookhaven
1 minute
Industrial
from
Park
here.
subdivision in its secret finding statement,
Terrific,
all
you
of
can
which
pull that up.
recommend.
Do you want to put it so that it can be heard?
The site is not within the town's hydrogeologic sensitive area. It is not within the central time variance. And it is not within any special groundwater protection area. The project provides an opportunity for economic investment and growth, will generate property tax revenues without placing any strain on the school district. Increase total tax revenues by more than 10 times from the current $91,000 per year to approximately $1.3 million upon completion of the project. The project is expected to generate over 300 direct, indirect, and
That's it. That's all you need.
Right.
Jonathan, could you hear that?
Yes.
So what do we suggest?
What are we suggesting?
Well, I think
Or
that,
attorney said
that we have two choices. We could say, you know, that we're not accepting this extension request, or we could accept the extension request with the caveat that there would be no pilot, or the pilot would be equal to full taxation.
And then
Le-
next, get mortgage
Lisa-
tax. and
Lisa,
sales tax.
my attorney, Dan Deegan, is asking to be let into the room. So I don't know if you see him in as a guest.
I do not see him. I apologize. I have two attendees, but I only see one.
Okay, I'll call him right now. Give me 1 second.
Yep, go right ahead.
Amy, click over to the other one and then go back, maybe.
I see Justin.
He's on the phone with me right now. He said that he's on Zoom in the waiting room, so.
What's his name listed as? Is it listed as Justin?
Yeah, somebody else's phone.
Somebody just disappeared. I only have Alan.
We can hear him.
No,
through
he's
the-
talking to.
I don't see anyone else. I'm sorry.
Would you ask him to go out and try to come back in again?
Dan, Lisa asked you to sign out and try to sign back in again.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the fact you can even pull this up like that.
That's nice.
Only because I wrote down a minute, otherwise we missed it for a while.
If you ask me to find that, I'd take it back tomorrow.
No. That's why it was a good idea to have that here.
I agree. Yep.
Yeah, I'm going down, what other towns?
Really?
Yep. You guys. Where's Dan?
Yes.
Well, unless things change.
Jonathan, I can call Dan if you, or he could call my cell phone and we could put him on speaker on the table if that helps.
Sure. Let me see if I can call him to do that with you. Give me a second.
Or we can just table this thing right now.
Yeah, or we could table it.
I would move to table.
Okay, thank you.
I would move to table and
Yeah.
let,
He's calling you right now, just so you know.
review the situation. I think, you know, it's a good project. We've supported the project.
I
I'd
second
like
the
see if
motion
we
to
can figure
table
that
it.
out.
You want to wait for Dan or just?
No, I would just,
Let's just tell who we're gonna table it.
we'll table it for the
I
moment.
agree.
So
Without any, with an understanding that, you know, they have a date issue and we'll resolve the date issue when we
Dan,
resolve the date issue.
hi. So my board would like to table this and, you know, give everybody some time to regroup. Yeah, it said there was two people, but we couldn't see you. I don't know, Zoom. Okay, so I'm gonna put you on speaker just so you can hear what they're voting on. Hold on.
Can I just make one quick statement?
Hey, Dan.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dan.
We can hear you.
Oh, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all.
Difficulties, but anyway, yeah, so, you know, I heard everything that was said, and, you know, a project like this, and you guys all know this as economic development professionals, that, you know, these projects don't work without IDA assistance, so it's always been contemplated that this project was gonna need a pilot. It's unfortunate, the way it was presented, maybe there was a disconnect, but, you know, it was always anticipated there's gonna be a pilot here, there was an application already pending for the IDA. Obviously, I agree with, the characterization wasn't the best messaging at that planning board hearing, but certainly, if it was said that way, it was, you know, not intended. And, you know, I welcome right for now, you know, let's table this and, we'll come back to you guys.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
fine.
Is there a motion?
I would move to table.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Thank you. Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Dan.
All right.
Thank you, John.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan. So I'll put that on for November or when we have more
Should they
information.
go back to the civics and or the school district prior to
Well,
when
I
it comes
think,
back to
I
us?
think they're gonna have to do something.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
whatever that is in that
To
context.
clarify,
They're gonna have to
Yeah.
clarify,
I think it's not.
but,
The public was misinformed
well,
on
that's,
a major issue.
So we have to have another public meeting?
Well,
We'll
it's
say we-
really not in the purview of the planning board,
that's correct.
but
Right.
they brought it up as a selling point of why they should approve that. And the public sitting and listeing,
Is gonna
And
say,
we're watching
you said
after.
this and.
yeah, exactly.
Well, let's, listen,
All right, we'll
we
table it
got,
for next one.
we have some time, I think we should have a conversation with them and see what we can do, if anything. But we'll go from there.
Okay, okay. So we have a few more items on our agenda, but we had guests just come back in, so I will go back out of order again and, are you guys ready to continue the
Are
conversation?
we going back to the
Yes,
original
I
issue, then I'm gonna
think
recuse
so.
myself?
Oh, yeah, sorry, Mitch.
That's okay.
Take your soda.
There's more soda in the fridge. I got,
Lisa, I
It's
have,
all yours.
Yeah, Mitch, to your left, if you're facing forward, bottom drawer, there's snacks.
Oh.
wow, Jim, what he is.
Oh, Andy. Oh, yeah. Well, Terry made cupcakes.
excuse me, sorry, I have 3 gentlemen in the waiting area, which I would like to let in. I have a Ralph C., who I'm assuming is Persano.
Yep.
Yep.
Is that you?
A
guys?
Michael Broxmeyer,
Is
Yes,
Michael with you?
yeah, that's fair. yeah.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are 2 parts of it.
and then there's just a Gary, who I don't know the last name.
That would be Gary Broxmeyer.
Okay. Thank you.
What I did want to suggest, obviously subject to your discretion, of course, but given some of the complexities and where potentially they could lead, if it might be meaningful to go into executive session on this for a bit.
What would be this? I mean, what would be the advantage of that? I mean,
Well, I mean, the entire nature of going into
I know.
executive session is not to,
Can we go into executive session? I can't think of a reason why it's.
I mean, if not, I'm just saying, it might be meaningful, it might not, I leave it to your discretion. But if not,
I think it should be an open discussion.
yeah, that's fine.
But did you
They
want to-
declined,
They declined?
correct.
Okay,
They-
All right.
Maybe they just want
back to you guys then.
Okay.
So, well, in any event, is it okay to address you now?
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
sure,
Okay, no, I didn't know if you,
No, no.
I didn't know where you were in your agenda.
No,
Yeah, we're coming back to
all
you.
over the place. We're
Coming
back to you guys.
I know Gary Hissiger had a few points further that he wished to address. There were 2 sort of fundamental points that I wanted to speak to before Gary Hissiger addressed some other points, some of which are a follow-up on what he mentioned earlier. The first was, I was a little surprised to hear the reliance or the reliance on and/or the weight given actions by Senator Skoufis of Rockland County in the scheme of how that might or might not affect how we're acting here. And to be more specific, Senator Skoufis represents parts of Rockland and Orange County. I'm very familiar with who he is. Those matters, which are really well documented if you go to the Lower Hudson Journal, for instance, solely involve a very localized, highly partisan battle in which Senator Skoufis is engaged with members of an opposing party. Because the senator, who is an extraordinarily partisan individual by any measure, is fighting with IDA boards who are represented by members of an opposing political party. And when one delves into the exact nature and meaning of what's going on there, what one sees is that it is a highly personal partisan battle involving mutual allegations of fraud and misconduct. And what's without question is that by any measure, none of that has anything to do or could be found to have any bearing on anything that's happening here. Now, I understand that the specter, of course, of somebody like this who uses his position to engage in that type of mudslinging and attacking local boards, albeit in an entirely other part of the state, can cause concern to a board anyplace because it's an atmosphere that's being created. But if you take a step back and you realize what those facts are and what's happening there in Steuben County and Rockland County, there is just no ability at all, there's no manner at all in which it could even be related here or connected in any way, shape, or form to what's transpiring here. That's my opinion. And I don't think that it's really
Well, I would
to
add,
think otherwise.
I would add the fact that what previously happened in Orange County, and there were convictions and, you know, people served time and paid significant penalties. What's going on now is new to that. And you may be right, whether it's partisan or not. But there are 105 IDAs throughout New York State. Each one of those IDAs got a target on their backs because of the actions that he wants to take to restrict what we can do. And almost the very basis of how we were founded back on municipal 18A or whatever that thing is. So it's much, much bigger than that. I will also tell you, I can remember at least one case here, was a residential housing situation, not too far from where you guys are, where they checked the box and said we would continue this project without our support. And guess what? We did not give them the support and the project continued. That's kind of where the problem is. And the exposure to us, and as we said before, we're foilable. We've got somebody locally that foils every single thing we do here. But it's broader than that. It's him, it's his Erie County, I think is where Ryan is. And it's the controller's office. The controller's office has a lot of authority.
But again, in a new project, I fully understand.
Yeah.
The benefits already exist, and we're asking for a mere continuation of the existing benefits. We are not seeking any additional mortgage tax, we're not seeking any additional sales tax exemption, and we're not seeking any enhanced pilot. So we're merely stepping into the shoes of the selling entity, you know, under a fully amended contract where we separated Deer Park from Mount Sinai.
So then you're saying that you wouldn't continue, you wouldn't move forward with the project without
It is highly
this.
unlikely we could do.
Okay. So that's,
That was your question.
that was my question.
Yeah.
So it is high, you know, just make sure that we're all clear on that. So they would not move forward without
It's highly
the
unlikely
benefit.
they'll move forward.
And if I could just add in that vein, I do, again, fully what you're saying about what's transpired with Senator Skoufis. But again,
That's only one piece of the fight.
no, I understand, but again, even as troubling as it is, and the fact that, as you've said, that these type of actions on his part, on the part of others, place a target, as you might see it, on the backs of IDAs every place. The underlying facts and circumstances just have no bearing and are not analogous to what's happening here. Just entirely different types of allegations, facts, and circumstances. That's number one. Number two, to Gary's point also, remember that this was sort of a dual transaction in the sense that there was the Deer Park property with Engelberg, and that went before the Babylon IDA. And there wasn't even a request for a new contract. Now, to the credit of your counsel, there were things that were brought up, and it was said we'd like to act at an abundance of caution, and we'd like to see this proceed in a different manner. And this proceeded not just with a new contract, but a new form of a contract, a membership interest purchase agreement, which is, Mr. Hissiger said, for new consideration, all done, again, to satisfy concerns, thoughts, inquiries made by your counsel. So none of that, by the way, was
And a
required.
termination of the prior contract.
Yeah. That's also true. None of that was ever requested or sought by the Babylon IDA. Now, that's a different board. And so you might say, well, we'll act differently and our procedures and processes will be different. But in fact, all that was requested and all that was done, so this would be brought forth with a new contract, with the subject to much more fully pronounced, and with everything that was requested has now been done. So I think that has to be highlighted as well.
I mean, it doesn't affect our decision here, but I'm just curious, in the original contract with Babylon, is the language similar to the original contract here?
Identical.
The new contract, the old contract?
The old
The old
contract. So they blew right through that, didn't care.
In light of the fact that we've heard that, that this project would unlikely move forward, and the
Before you
fact that
say
we
that,
have,
Gary, I
yes,
have a question.
sure.
How are we to understand the language in the original application that indicated that we would not need assistance from this agency
So,
to move the project forward?
well, so the contract, original contract was not subject to, but for the reasons that I stated earlier, we believe that that would not present an issue here, because there is language in the IDA statute, the general municipal law, allowing transactions to move forward without that, so long as there's, good reason or good cause. I forget the exact language of the general municipal law. So we were of the opinion that given the fact that it was a mere assumption of benefits, that there would not be an issue. When we heard there was an issue, we went back and addressed the concerns in a manner that was reasonable.
I think that's really the very fair and accurate way to look at it, that it was only done in that manner because there was not a thought that it would impact anything otherwise, which would, again, when they were taking the path through Babylon, was borne out to be their understanding, because that's how they looked at it, which is a reasonable
Right, as no
interpretation.
benefits were being sought, we did not think that that would present the issue that presented.
But when it was
when
brought to the
presented,
attention here.
we came back and addressed it in as best as we, in a manner that we thought, appropriately addressed the concerns.
I think in light of the fact that there's not additional benefit being, sought after, in light of the fact that there are some board members that are missing here, I feel that since our next board meeting is November 15th, that we table this until November 15th, so that we have a vote then. I really think that would be fair to the applicant.
Just to,
Yeah.
because I know that your timeline is of concern. November 15th, the process would be that you consider the application, you accept it.
That we would
or-
be accepting the application.
Right,
Can
but
you accept
then
it and approve it at the same meeting?
we have to have a public hearing. So that's why I just mentioned it, because I don't know that necessarily works.
Can you have the public hearing prior to acceptance of the application and do an acceptance and a resolution the same
Yes.
day?
Yes. Really question with that, and I don't totally disagree with what you're saying, but whether or not we've got the requisite number of board members to approve or not approve at that time.
Right.
We're fortunate today we have 5, although one has to recuse, and, unfortunately Felix is questioned.
Well,
I would say that,
but we're
it's a
gonna
month
have
away.
Well, let me ask you, are you available in November?
Yes, I will be in person.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Frank's available.
I think Frank said he was
Yeah.
available. But then we would be holding the public hearing in advance, so.
Do you have a problem with that?
I do not.
Okay. So you wanna just amend?
So
You wanna amend to say,
I'd
also
like-
include having the public hearing?
Yes, I'd make a motion to amend that.
Okay.
So you'll put the public notice in the short order?
Good.
Barry will be, or Bill will be in touch to put together the public hearing notice, and we'll go from there, and it'll be held prior to our November 15th meeting. At which
And the vote will be for both on the same
At which
day.
point, our
Yep.
board will consider both the application and the final authorizing resolution. Barry, You good with that?
Yes, we can proceed on that. We'll put together the public hearing notice and get it out to the group for review in advance of the November 15th IDA board meeting.
All right.
All right, very good. Great. Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, so we have additional items on our agenda.
Did we vote on that?
You need a second.
Oh, we need a second. Thank you,
Need a
Josh.
second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Take care, guys. What we vote for?
Thank you.
What'd you just vote on?
On that,
Oh,
right there.
yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay, so
I didn't want to go.
Nothing's easy. Where's my?
he's coming
I
out.
didn't want to go in executive session.
No.
I don't have.
No,
to-
I don't think that's
I think we can-
appropriate in
No,
any
it's important to have it here.
But it's also not
your
his,
adversary.
what is he asking for in that regard, right? It's,
just saw it. I didn't
It's
answer my phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
for issues of personnel and litigation, right?
Right.
So-
No, there's like 10 of them, but
For
those are the ones
executive
that,
session?
that mostly impact us. Like, we don't usually find ourselves in a situation that we have to keep a police officer's identity protected,
Right.
but that's another one of them.
Right.
There's a bunch of them, but the ones that we deal with
Yeah.
mostly are those two.
It just
Yeah.
seemed that another IDA would just flow right through that without a concern.
Mhm.
But that's,
Well, everybody's different.
but it's not surprising in this case.
Okay, so we have a couple more items on the agenda. Just get us back on track. The next one is Scalamander Cove. They also put in a letter explaining why they were unable to move forward with their application in a timely manner. To remind everybody, that's an apartment complex on north of Middle Country Road in Middle Island. He gave a very extensive explanation and history.
Salamanders.
Yes, well, and there are
I think
salamanders
that's why
on
they
his
call it, the
property.
project is
Oh,
what it's
no way,
called.
it's got that name?
Why?
Is it
Mr.
really?
Secretary.
Salamanders on
No,
the.
no,
Typo.
typo, but the secretary submitted the application.
Oh,
Oh,
for
I really
God's
thought it
sake.
was.
No.
Well, it was
Salamander.
Salamander Cove, but
Okay.
she
decided
she hit
to
the wrong
rename it.
button.
Yeah, she did.
Wow.
One extra one.
So he didn't specifically ask for an extension, but it's very implied in his letter. And it was a very thoughtful letter, so I know that we need to go back to him and ask, initially, we're gonna have to go back to him and ask for an updated application, but they sent it to us, and I got it on like Thursday, so it wasn't enough time to process everything and get it to you
There's
guys.
no reason not to.
Well, on November, I'll have the application to you, so we can consider everything at once. So I don't know if we need to take any action right now.
Wait till November.
Yeah.
He's supposed to
Okay.
be tapping into. the-
3 weeks.
I remember that guy.
Services.
Yeah,
Came in,
I do, yeah.
Came to talk to
Yep.
us.
And that other,
Okay, so I will,
Comical type guy.
this will be on for November, so this is just, look at the letter, it was very
FYI.
thoughtful. The last item on the agenda is Segme Brookhaven LLC. This is a spec industrial facility proposed to go just adjacent to AOE's project on Horse Bluff Road. And they are requesting an extension until August of 2024. That letter is also in your packet. Again, we will need an updated application. Howard, did you have something you wanted to add?
Well, no, and basically their problem seems to be that they don't have their financing in place and their investors in place yet.
I
Yeah.
agree.
So when we get closer, we'll,
That's a bad problem to have.
yeah,
Yeah, but
we're gonna request an updated application just so that we have, or a letter that says nothing's changed, but I highly doubt that's gonna be the case. So, do we need to accept or do a resolution amending their extension until August of 2024?
You want to make that condition upon receiving within 60 days an update?
Okay, sure.
Good idea, Howard,
Mhm,
thank
good
you.
idea.
I'll move it that way.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I don't have anything else. Does anybody else?
Lisa, did you want to raise MS Packaging's request for consents to moving 45% of their ownership interest to a trust for one of the members?
no,
I didn't want to. I don't know, I
What?
thought I'd wait until November, because I felt like this agenda. if
Oh,
I-
okay, I'm sorry. I thought you said to me you were gonna do that. That's fine. It's fine with me. It's not a
Howard,
problem.
you should bring up that name. What that devil is, I won't use the other word, is going on with their construction project? It seems to
What
be
do you-
taking,
MS Packaging?
yeah,
They're making
The
progress.
second progress? Well, yeah, I'm not aware. They didn't
How do
finish
you-
the second project?
oh, it's
It
taking.
No,
was
forever.
up and running.
No, it's not finished yet.
They're waiting for the roads to be paved.
I sent.
Wow, that's taken a long time.
Yes, and
know,
I go
I know
by
how
it
Fred feels
frequently,
about that.
and it's not making
Oh,
much.
okay.
You have to go there.
Afterwards, I could speak to Lisa. Maybe she can update me about it. I wasn't aware. We can ask some questions.
I'm getting a chuckle out.
No, I'm talking about him.
I'm getting a
Oh.
chuckle.
I'll reach out and find out what's going on.
Okay.
Can we just, for my edification, just to make absolutely sure, go over the schedule for the rest of the year?
Yeah.
The next one I have is November 15th at 12:30.
Yes.
Yes,
It is a
Okay.
12.
Which, by the way, on the record, I really enjoy the 12:30.
noted.
Okay, December is
So mine's
Six.
still in here at 8. I gotta have.
6 is an afternoon meeting to be followed
2
by,
o'clock, followed by the Christmas
Followed by
party,
the-
Okay.
or lack of.
by
a better
another
word.
meeting.
And when's the other
Yes.
one?
December 6th, and that's all we have
My
so
son's
far.
birthday.
That's it.
That's it. I
Unless
can-
we have
Okay.
to add one.
I just wanna make sure.
That one's in.
Pearl Harbor Day.
November 15th.
Pearl Harbor Day.
Is it?
12:30.
Yeah.
Well, he'll be married at that point, so.
All right,
Not
Michelle.
that the birthdays won't really mean anything, but still. Picking my song now, like I told you, to walk through the tunnel.
Okay,
Okay, just wanted to make, those are the only two we have.
Lisa, we finished?
I don't
Good.
have anything else.
Anyone else?
Okay,
All right.
All right,
Thank you all for your
Motion to
input today.
thank you.
Well, we need a
Motion.
motion to go home,
Yes.
Motion
Second.
to adjourn.
I'll go back to work.
Second, I'll make the motion.
Thank you.
Go down to the town
I'm
website.
gonna go.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Howard.